We're the
We're the
Dorkerys.
Dorkerys.
I'm Drew.
I'm Lady or Farrah. Drew calls me Lady.
Yeah, I do. Because you are a lady. And I know what the ladies like. The ladies like...
Comic character crash course!
That's what this episode is. And we like to find characters that maybe you don't know a lot about.
Characters I don't know a lot about.
Maybe I don't know a lot about. Maybe the ones that haven't got the headlines like the Spider-Mans and the Captain Americas and the Iron Mans. So today we're going to do Kitty Pryde, who has all kinds of alias names like Shadowcat, like Sprite,
Ariel,
like Red Queen, like Ariel. I mean, I'm telling you, this is a girl of 1,000 names, but what I like about her is she's pretty centric to not only mutants, but the Marvel Universe. So we're going to get into that. If you don't know her, and I've actually just sent my upgrade off, and luckily I still have this because I haven't sold it yet. So if you're interested in an X-Men 129 CGC 6.5, hit me up.
Now, what was the upgrade? Like you sending off to be graded?
Which I think is going to be a higher grade.
Cool.
So it's at CGC right now. So this is X-Men 129. Came out in the year 1980. Old Drew was just 1 year old.
I was not even alive.
And Mr. Chris Claremont said, you know what? I want to introduce some new characters into the X-Men universe. So he introduced Emma Frost.
Like it?
Yes, the White Queen. He introduced Sebastian Shaw.
Like it a lot.
Who was played by
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon in the movies.
I got a couple loose.
And then there was this little 13-year-old girl who loved to phase named Kitty...
Catherine.
Yep, Catherine Pryde. The youngest girl to ever join the X-Men.
And that was kind of a shocker for me, like how young she is.
Absolutely.
And when you start reading her comics, you kind of get like that whiny, bratty, like baby kind of feel.
Yeah, so, well, speaking of baby, so she was actually, there was kind of a fight, Lady Dorkery, to get Kitty Pryde. There was a fight between Xavier's School of Mutants and the Hellfire Club. They both wanted Kitty to join them.
Is this in like these books?
This right here. It's where it started. So actually...
I haven't read this one because it's in a slab.
So actually, the Hellfire Club actually kidnapped some of the X-Men because they were trying to get Kitty Pryde's attention.
Is it X-Men's or X-Man?
X-People.
X-People.
So they got some of them, and it was Kitty Pryde who actually said, you know what, I don't like that, and she helped save those three from the Hellfire Club. And of course, she ended up going to Xavier's School of Mutants, and she joined the X-Men at the very young age of 13 years old, which is crazy, because that's how old our son is. That's like our son joining the X-Men.
I thought about that. I think he could do it.
Yeah. So
maybe he could go to the X-Men school that Dwight from Office went to.
Yes. Forgot about that. The pictures, if you've never seen the pictures of Dwight Schrute at the Professor X Xavier School, I'm telling you, it's awesome. So anyways, so here's Kitty, right? 13, and what's going to happen? She's going to start going into adolescence. And she's going to get...
Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Adolescence.
She gets a little bit older, and she has her first crush. Lady Dorkery, do you know who her first crush was?
Yes. Like, according to the books?
According to the books.
Wasn't it Colossus?
It was! Peter. And what's funny, because her...
He broke her little heart.
Yes, he did. Which is funny because he also has a wonderful sister within the... I don't know if you know this or not, within the Mutants universe. She's actually in the New Mutants movie. Her name is Magic!
No idea who that
so
is.
that's her best friend. That's Colossus' sister. So anyway, so Kitty Pryde, you know, she gets her heart broken, and that goes into...
So we have a 13-year-old with a broken heart. Great start.
Well, I think she's a little older right here.
I don't know.
In the series, so I'm not perfectly... I mean, this is 1984.
So I will say I've read...
She was introduced in 80, so she's a little bit old.
I've read all of this 6-part series, and I think she reads like a 13-year-old.
Okay, that's fair.
In this first issue, she reads like a 13-year-old.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's run away, right? Because her heart's broken by Mr. Peter.
So she left the school.
She left the
school. Went home to daddy, which that's a whole nother set of issues.
So she's like, all right, I've got to get away. You know, I can't be around Colossus no more. I can't be around all these X-Men. this is the series that we were given a wonderful AOK from John Garner. And I said, you know what, Lady Dorkery, I want to introduce you to Kitty Pryde. I think this is an excellent story arc because not only does it introduce kind of Kitty Pryde's new persona, which I'm sure you'll speak to, but then the very first, this is a key issue. And not like a major key, but there's a guy named Ogun. I think I'm saying that right.
Ronan Ogun.
Yeah, so pretty powerful guy. And actually, Lady Dorkery, before we get into this, there's rumors that Ogun may be in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Really? Oh, that would be fun.
Because they have a set photo with one of the kind of, ninja, bad guy. What was Yakuza, or how do you say the...
It's the Yakuza.
The Yakuza. So
which was fun to learn about.
Yeah.
So one of the things I really like about this series is that it really lets you see like the impact of X-Men and superhero groups like that outside of America.
Yeah.
Because I feel like our perspective is like really from like what goes on with superheroes.
Yeah.
Here in New York City, most of the time it's usually, but like we get a really good Japanese culture in these books. I learned all about the Yakuza.
Yeah.
I learned what a Ronin is.
Yeah.
More than just like our Hawkeye Ronin, I learned what it actually is to be a Ronin.
Yep.
And that like Wolverine's actually referred to as a Ronin a lot. They call Wolverine a Ronin, which just means like you're a lone wolf.
Yep.
Which Wolverine, like you're just a loner. A samurai that's a loner. That's a Ronin.
So there's so much of Wolverine's background that comes from Japan if you watch the movie, and I know you actually watched this.
I did. While I was reading these, I realized, wait a second, this is very familiar.
A lot of stuff in here.
So I watched The Wolverine.
Right.
And
Which
then
is
I went
his origin,
and watched
right?
and then I watched Wolverine Origin.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but The Wolverine gets a whole lot of its story out of here.
Huh, I didn't know that.
A whole lot. So his love interest, Mariko.
Oh yeah, now it's all coming together.
His love interest is Mariko in these comics, and then the other girl, Yukio.
Yeah.
They are both the main girl characters. And the
fighting
Yakuza,
over the love of Logan.
In the Wolverine movie. He's fighting the Yakuza, which is this.
Yep.
This whole book, I mean, I could go into all the detail, but this whole book constantly refers, or that movie, I should say it the other way around. That movie references a lot of information in this book.
So let's say, why is she in Japan? So basically, she's in Japan because her daddy, she's a daddy's girl.
He needs saving.
Her daddy's in trouble with the Yakuza. So he goes over to Tokyo and she's like, oh my gosh. And what I love, we really start to see like how she uses her phasing powers and abilities.
You want to talk about her phasing?
So basically, she can phase into anything. So she basically manipulates her molecules to where she can go through anything.
So the books actually call it wild genes.
Yeah.
Which she says, like, you ever notice like in the older books, like the characters just narrate themselves?
Oh, absolutely.
Like in the newer books.
That was Chris Claremont's thing.
Yeah, like in the newer books, you just kind of like have a story and you're jumping. But like in the older books, you're really just like.
From the perspective.
Like if it's me, I'm like, I'm walking down the street today and oh my gosh, I see a penny. Like that's how these narrate.
Yep.
So she says,
Chris.
I have wild genes, which means I have more than the normal person.
Right.
Which means I can move them or shift them around other molecules to walk through anything.
Yep. And
What's cool about that? That she can also do that to air.
Oh, yeah. So you can walk on air.
She can walk on air because she's literally manipulating her molecules around air molecules to just...
But she's got to focus because if she loses her focus...
And she's a 13-year-old girl with a heartbreak, so...
So she's in Japan, she's getting all kinds of trouble, and that's where Ogun comes in. So he basically like, I kind of like this girl. I bet I could make her my new Wolverine Logan, because we actually find out that Ogun was a former sensei and pretty much the guy that taught Wolverine
how to fight.
Everything he knew.
I don't know. That seems kind of Wolverine's like ancient, right? But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from a fighting standpoint.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that dude, he beat the crap out of Kitty Pryde. He beat the crap out of Wolverine. I mean, Ogun's... I'm telling you, if they bring him into the MCU, I mean, he's kind of one of those underrated villain, not a household names, but not only is he great in the martial arts, but he also has dark sorcery. So he has.
So they have a name for that. I wrote it down. Oh, she just said it was ninjutsu magic.
Yeah.
They're like, ninjutsu magic, you gotta stay away from that.
Yeah.
So he basically uses his ninjutsu magic to try and replace Kitty's soul with his own.
Yep. That's pretty powerful. So he basically turns her into a pretty crazy demon. And he also, what was really sad, if you look at that right there, her beautiful curls, all her locks that we all know Kitty Pryde even has today, which we'll get into, he cuts them all off.
He does.
And she's got like a weird...
He's basically trying to live through her so that he can live longer.
Yeah.
But here's one of the things I think is really funny about this artwork, is that she goes from looking like a 13-year-old with these curls, pull the next one, to looking like, hey, I got a haircut and now I'm 60. She reminds me of a Terminator chick.
Yeah. So she's demon possessed now, or basically, she's basically got this, this dark sorcery going on in her mind. She has her powers, but she also, he was able to put all of his fighting abilities into her as well, right?
Yep.
So she's fighting Wolverine. Wolverine comes over to save her because we didn't say this, but she actually calls back home when she gets over there and realizes that she's bit off a little bit more.
But she doesn't say anything. She hangs up the phone, and Wolverine figures out what's going on.
And of course, he goes over and all his old stomping grounds in Japan, and all the people that he knows and loves are all somehow involved in this entire story arc.
Well, that's part of what I was saying that I love, because she actually talks about, I've been here before with the X-Men.
Yeah.
So she references the fact that the X-Men have global outreach.
Absolutely.
That the X-Men have global impact. They've been there fighting battles before.
Yep.
That through telepathy, Professor X has taught them all how to speak Japanese.
Yep.
So she can communicate Japanese. I also think it's really funny that these books say everything in English. What am I saying? In English, but at the bottom of the page it says translated from Japanese.
Yeah.
And I'm going, but I'm like, why do you need to tell me this is translated from Japanese, but you're giving it to me? I feel like, am I supposed to go back through it and read it like, am I supposed to try and read it? Like, it's just, that's funny to me, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's not funny like I'm making fun of you funny. It's like, haha.
Yeah. So Wolverine's able to kind of break the hold, right? Mm-hmm. Break the hold over her mind and get that Ogun dark sorcery out of her mind. But go ahead.
Okay, so how does he get her to break the hold? What's one of the things he's with
you
the
tell
sword?
Me, Lady Dorkery.
Well, it's with the sword.
Exactly. That's why I brought up this comic right
It's
there.
with the sword. He's like, you must hold the sword because it's like mind over matter. Like your mind has to beat the hold.
Yeah.
Okay, so the really cool thing
is
about the sword that you don't know. He says it somewhere in here. He's like, this sword has been around for centuries.
Yep.
So and so has held this sword, and I'm the only person who has held this sword. And now you must hold this sword. This is Yoshida's sword. This is Mariko's grandfather's sword.
That's pretty powerful.
And he says it in here. In here, he says, this is the Yoshida household. This is the Yoshida castle. Yoshida is the young man in the Wolverine that he saves from all the bombs. Remember the guy? Yes. Everybody else gets wiped out by like the atomic bombs, and that's Yoshida.
Yeah.
So, but this sword is the Yoshida family sword that is Mariko's. Mariko is a Yoshida. It says that in this comic.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
So Mariko, who actually helps Kitty throughout this, is.
That's cool. Very cool.
That's their family sword.
So,
it's got like super ancestrally powers.
They're still fighting Ogun, and what's crazy is right here, all of a sudden, like, in the middle of battle and everything that's going on, Wolverine gets a call from the States that he gets some pretty bad news. Not only is one of his BFFs, Storm, like
she lost her powers.
But one of his friends, the Guardian from Alpha Flight. Which I want to know a lot more about Alpha Flight, and we're going to read that. Maybe we'll do a comic character crash course to Alpha Flight.
He died. He did, but he said, I must go on. He said, there's nothing I can do. So that's another thing I was going to say. It's really cool because she says, I've been here before with the X-Men. You were
Yeah.
saying, like, Wolverine already knows everybody in this town with the Yakuza, but they do reference so many. They obviously reference X-Men.
Yeah.
But they reference Alpha Flight.
Yep.
They reference the death of Guardian.
Yep.
They reference Storm losing her powers. But they also, there's a big reference in here to Thor and the casket of ancient winters.
Good catch.
Yeah, like it's talked because Japan is all of a sudden under a huge snowstorm, and they keep saying, "Why are we covered in in this storm?" And they're like, "It has something to do with Thor."
The Marvel Universe always
That's fun
connected.
though.
It is very
That's
fun.
the kind of stuff that's fun to dork out about.
Absolutely. So this is a minor key issue right here. So this is where Kitty says, you know what? I'm going to grow up. It's time for Kitty Pryde to grow up.
So I thought she was a little annoying in the beginning because she was so whiny.
Yeah.
But she turns a little...
Yeah. So she
little
turns
BA.
into what I like of all the aliases that Kitty Pryde has. Shadowcat.
Shadowcat. She's
Shadowcat.
like, I don't want to be called Ariel. I don't want to be called Sprite. I
Yeah.
don't want to be called Kitty. I'm Shadowcat.
Well, what's cool is, even though the hold of Ogun is gone from her, she still now has all of those martial art training, all of those kind of ninja, in the dark, kind of sneak up on there. So Shadowcat actually works out perfect. So this is actually the first time she ever says the name Shadowcat.
She says, I'm Shadowcat.
And she goes by it. There's a great little panel in here that's pretty cool. Of course, they're fighting, and they ultimately, in the last issue, spoiler, what happens to Ogun? He gets killed. And what's cool is how he gets killed is he's about to jump, and he's about to kill Shadowcat, and Wolverine yells out, "Phase!" And she phases, and the sword goes through her, and Wolverine's able to take his claws and stop and get Ogun. So
and neither of them, as good guys, wanted to actually kill Ogun. I mean, of course,
she had an opportunity to kill him.
They
and she
obviously
wouldn't do it.
wanted to kill him, but as good guys, they were like, "We're not going to kill him. That's not who we are." But then, as he attacked, just in self-defense, he a goner.
Yeah. So this is actually a turning point, and really there's a great connection in the comics between Kitty Pryde and Wolverine. Is there anything else that you want to hit on this series?
Not yet, but in a little bit.
Okay, so I want to kind of go a little bit ahead. One thing that you may not know, Lady Dorkery, in the Days of Future Past, in the comics...
So just to be clear, I only read Kitty and Wolverine.
Right. But so in the Days of Future Past, and we're not going to get into this, remember in the movies... Wolverine goes back in time by himself to kind of save the mutants from all the Sentinels and all that. Remember that? Mm-hmm. But in the comic books, Kitty's the one that actually goes back and actually has more of an impact to save the mutants. If Kitty Pryde didn't go back in time and save during that Days of Future Past, the mutants wouldn't even be around.
Yeah, but when we made that movie, nobody knew a thing about Kitty Pryde. And, well, Hugh Jackman was... kind of hot, so why not make him another movie?
So I don't know if this is where you wanted to go, but we know that she had a crush on Peter, which was Colossus, and then all of a sudden she develops another crush on another Peter. Peter Quill.
Peter Quill.
So I don't know much about that story arc.
I just know they get engaged.
I know that. And you know what's funny, Lady Dorkery? I know, right? On the Earth 616, which is another version of Kitty Pryde. Guess who she falls in love with and is connected to on that?
I don't do guesses.
Peter Parker.
Come on, dear.
She loves herself some Peters.
Keep going.
So you got Peter Colossus, you got Peter Quill, you got Peter Parker. I think there's some backstory of why she seriously, has a drawing to guys named Peter. So I just thought that was an interesting fact. So what was yours before I get into the Marauders?
No, this is about your Marauders. Let's go.
Okay, so Marauders, which is where we're at. This series actually, this particular version of Marauders started at the end of 2019. And there you see in the forefront, Kitty Pryde and Lockheed, which we haven't talked about. But basically Lockheed, there was one time that Kitty went to outer space and there was this little kind of dragon-looking life form that he just loves himself some Kitty Pryde. And he connected himself to her, and they are like inseparable now. So the Marauders is kind of all about the present-day Hellfire Club, Remember, Lady Dorkery, I told you the Hellfire Club they wanted her at the very beginning. Well, here we are, 2019. Almost 40 years later, they finally get her to come over. So she joins the Hellfire Club, and then in issue number 2, they actually convince her to become not Kitty Pryde no more, not Shadowcat no more, but she is now the Red Queen.
She's a girl of many personalities.
So,
which
is really kind of funny. And again, I don't want to ruin the thing on this, but everybody kind of knows what's going on. Sebastian Shaw, which again, the first appearance is in X-Men 129. He really wanted his son to hold that kind of space on the Hellfire Club, and he gets pissed that Emma Frost, the White Queen, gives her that mantle. Dance. So what does he do? He says, I'm going after her, I'm going to take her out, and he actually kills Kitty Pryde.
Wah, wah.
He drowns her.
So we've got the beginning and the end of Kitty Pryde.
So she's drowned, and here's the thing. In the present day kind of mutant world...
Can't phase through water?
I know, right?
You can phase air.
So in this present day, all the mutants, if they die, they can actually be resurrected. So there's kind of like this egg that they make a clone and they put a new body in there, and Cerebro and the Five and the present day Professor X is able to kind of transport the consciousness of that dead mutant into a new body. That works for everybody, but
Kitty.
Yeah.
You know why I think?
Why?
Because she's confused about who she is. It's kind of hard to transfer somebody's consciousness when there's many conscious.
We didn't talk about this, but she's she's Jewish. She has a Jewish background.
She does. In the Kitty and Wolverine, she's celebrating Hanukkah.
And that's a big thing to her. She talks about it throughout the years of her kind of thing. And one of the things that people were really kind of upset about when they died, they cremated her body.
Can't do that.
Jewish cultures don't do that. So there's kind of a little controversy on that.
Then again, she is confused about who she is.
So basically, they tried 1, 2, they were over and over trying to bring Kitty Pryde's consciousness back into the clone. They kept working over and over and over again. Fail. And they're like, what's going on here? So finally, Emma Frost says, light bulb goes off in her head. She goes, she's out of phase. So when they're trying to phase her, or they're trying to bring in her consciousness into that new thing, her phase is all messed up and it's not connecting. So it's kind of like, it's not making that connection. So she's, Emma Frost, and with a little help of Nightcrawler, is able to basically right here kind of pull the consciousness of Kitty Pryde.
He's phasing into her phasing, and okay.
And they were able to finally bring her back. This just came out like within the last couple of weeks.
That's awesome.
Kitty Pryde's back. They were able to get her into there. And another thing too, her connection to Nightcrawler, Lady Dorkery, is Kitty Pryde was in the original Excalibur, which is a great team as well.
Okay.
And and so was Nightcrawler, very connected there. So that's where we are today. That's kind of like the present day of what's going on with Kitty Pryde. I've seen the cover of Marauders 12, and it's Kitty with all her locks back, and she's got her fist up like this, and it says "Kill Shaw." So she's going. So she knows, and she tells everybody.
So this time she's not about like
Sebastian
where before
Shaw.
She was like, not gonna kill the bad guy. Now she's gonna kill him.
Yep. So she's going after him hard and kind of. That's what I love. Kitty has grown up. I mean, Kitty is a BA now. So
the first one, like, she was so whiny, and she's like, "Look at my ice skates I got for Hanukkah."
Yeah. So
it's a little too much for me.
So I'm ready for Kitty Pryde to be in the MCU. Whenever the X-Men kind of come to the MCU, I think she's going to be a great big part of that. I wish I had a Kitty Pryde Funko Pop or a Kitty Pryde Legend. I'm hunting those. I will find those, but I don't have anything like that. But I guess I can't complain.
All right, show me Kitty and Wolverine.
Kitty and Wolverine. Oh, what?
Hand me the stack.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then take your stack of. Don't mix my comics up with yours. And then get your stack, okay?
Of Marauders?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so here, if you guys watch at all, I love to break out. Like, I love to break down the art.
Yeah.
I love to even the back of the comic, like, I love to analyze what and why, okay? So, just show yours. I honestly haven't looked, but go through yours. They're it's just characters. It's just characters, right? Okay, it's just the character. There's something very significant about this book. Okay, I'm gonna show you all of them.
Okay.
So actually, I'll just say.
Split.
I'll say here's Kitty, in Illinois, I think.
Chicago.
And then here's Kitty in Japan.
Tokyo.
Okay, and then here's Kitty as Demon and Kitty as Kitty.
Yep.
And then here's Kitty fighting Wolverine with with the line right down the middle.
Yep.
Okay, here's Kitty with the
sword.
Yashida sword with the line right down the middle that goes top to bottom.
Yep.
Here's Kitty fighting Ogun with Wolverine's claw making the line right down the middle.
I didn't even recognize that.
And then am I on number 6?
Yep.
Okay, but we still got the line right down the middle where Ogun's on one side of her and Wolverine's on the other side of her, and it goes right through her.
Yep.
So on every single one of these, we have the line right down the middle.
Huh.
This symbolism, this is the kind of stuff I love.
Yeah.
So this is twofold symbolism.
Okay.
It's twofold, as you can see here. It's twofold, or the first is because she's phasing.
Yeah.
You can see the first one is because she can literally be in 2 rooms at one time.
Okay.
So we've got a divide on every one of them because of her power that she can phase through something. The other is because she's 2 people in this.
Yeah.
She's 2 people. You can see on this one, she's her Kitty with a demon inside of her trying to fight. And I love that they keep that consistency all the way through. They keep that consistency, but top to bottom, to show that symbolism that she is 2 places at once. But in this series, she's also 2 people at once.
Yeah, and what's funny is that started from the very beginning. She had to choose between 2 places, right?
Yeah.
She had to choose between the school or the Hellfire Club. It's like Kitty's always like the girl of choices.
Yep. It's fun. That's cool. That's cool about her. That means that she's in demand.
That's absolutely right.
I love the twofold symbolism on this cover art.
Yeah, and see, again, you're right. That's classic, stuff that you just don't really see a lot today. But I hope you enjoyed it. That's just a little bit about Kitty Pryde. I mean, we could probably go for an hour. I didn't even get to the series of Kitty Pryde, Shadow and Flame, which is another, great little mini-series.
But as I always say, the fact that there's much stuff is what makes it fun to be a dork.
Yeah.
You just dork deeper.
I know. You just keep going. That's why there's so much great things. And again, I can't wait to see what they do. Who knows? Maybe even they'll bring Ellen Page to do Kitty Pryde. Again, who knows? Because they certainly gave her a small role in the X-Men series. So there you go.
Kitty's been played by about 3 different actresses in the X-Men movies.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. So there's our comic character crash course, Kitty Pryde. What I believe to be one of the top X-Men of all the X-Men.
Of all the X-Men.
Of all the X-Men.
Of all the X-people.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Of all the gifted youngsters. The gifted youngsters.
She's gifted. And in the meantime,
go dork yourself.
Pew, pew. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.